Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. All right, let me go ahead and make sure we're good here on all platforms. Sweet. All right, we are ready to go. Okay, for those of you who missed the title for today's discussion, we're talking about prevention as medicine. Prevention. Why is prevention better? I think we all kind of understand the importance of this one. It's pretty common sense, right? Why would we want to implement certain things into our lifestyle that save us time, money, headaches, and stress later down the road? Because, like with everything in life, there's always a trade-off, and there's always going to be some sort of sacrifice that we feel that we have to make for even the most positive things that we have to add to our life, right? So the reason why this was on my mind today is because one of the biggest lessons I feel like I have learned being in this health and wellness industry for over 8 years now is so many people wait until their bodies hurt in order to look for some sort of cure, right? Or we're waiting until we're sick to start prioritizing our health, or we're waiting until we need to look good in a wedding dress to lose weight, or whatever it is that we're always postponing our health and our well-being until it's like a priority for some other reason other than we want to feel good, or for some other reason that has to do with pain. It's always the pain that's driving our behavior, which I understand. This is a very common human response to change, right? Most people are not going to change until they have some sort of pain. So with that in mind, I understand that that is what's going to take most people to drive them to actually make a decision or actually make a change, right? So, why then, or how then, can we make those changes maybe before something happens? Or maybe we can start implementing things that don't even take that much time at all, but actually give us the largest ROI in our life. For example, these are the main three things that I touch on that I've learned that move the needle the most in our life and in our health and in our wellness. Number one is prioritizing our sleep. I know that this is something that people don't really prioritize because they don't think, or maybe they don't know how important this is or how much this actually impacts our life. Sleep is the number one way that your body processes and recovers from the day before. And a lack of sleep really does impact our body on every single level when we are deprived of sleep. Not only are you going to be more stressed, you're going to feel more moody. You're going to respond differently to the food that you're eating. A lot of people don't know this, but fun fact, when you sleep less than 5 hours, your body goes into a pre-diabetic state, meaning automatically your blood sugars are going to be higher, and it's going to be basically how your body is responding to sugar and food is going to be different simply from not sleeping enough. So that is one of the things that I'm always talking about changing and just prioritizing more that makes a huge difference in how you feel and how you recover and how you look. I know that's not the first thing people think about when, oh, I can't lose the last 10 pounds, or I can't lose weight, or I'm feeling super stressed and anxious or depressed and I don't really know why. Most people don't think, oh, well, maybe it's because I'm not sleeping, but it's that important. And it is something that actually makes a huge difference. So that's number one. Number two, of course, is our nutrition. And it's not what you think. I'm not talking about a perfect life where you eat perfectly all the time and you're tracking your foods and all these things. I'm talking about making simple shifts in your nutrition that make a huge difference in how you feel and how you look. And the number one thing I would say is your protein. Why do I always tell people that? I don't even tell them first to stop eating sugar, because I understand that most people crave sugar because they're not eating enough protein, because they're not eating enough in general. Cravings happen when your body doesn't get the right nutrients. When you're nutrient deprived, your body sends signals to the brain saying, I'm hungry, feed me. because that's designed to make you survive. You need nutrients. You need those things in order for your body to survive. So we prioritize our protein because then, just like with anything else, right? The body is going to naturally stop having those cravings, at least significantly going to decrease your cravings for sugar because you're getting what you need. So that's number one. And that is the main thing when it comes to nutrition that everyone should start with. Don't overwhelm yourself. It's not like you have to do everything at once, right? Like they say with the whole elephant analogy, you're not going to eat an elephant in a day, but you are going to do it piece by piece, right? We are going to work on one small thing at a time. And this specific one makes the biggest difference. I promise you guys, it makes a huge difference in how you feel, how you look, how you recover, how much you're craving things. So focus on that. That will make a massive difference in overall in how you feel. And then the third one is going to be movement. The body is designed to move. We are designed to be moving. In a modern society where our jobs are us sitting down, where even lots of children are indoors more than they're outdoors, they're sitting down for long periods of time, we're not moving our body, and we're not only burning calories, we're not utilizing the fuel, the carbohydrates, the glucose, the sugars, all these things that we're eating in excess. We're not even moving to burn them off. And movement isn't just for burning calories, of course. It's also for circulation. It is also for maintaining your energy levels. The more sedentary you are, the more likely you are to feel tired, the more likely you are to deal with problems with circulation, with your cardiovascular system, because all of these things inside of your body, all the organs, they require blood flow in order to be healthy. And if you're sitting for long periods of time, your body is not getting the right amount of blood flow to the organs in order for us to feel our best. So moving, walking more, getting outside more, all of these things, they really do make a difference. And those are just 3 simple things that do not require a lot of money. They don't even require a lot of extra time out of your day. Sleeping more. It just requires that you schedule it, that you become more aware of that. Because the thing is, everyone has time for these things. It's just, what are you prioritizing? The busiest person on the planet, if the busiest person can make time for this, then we all can find the time for it. Sleeping, prioritize that. 7 to 8 hours. Okay? Second is prioritizing our protein. It's that simple. Make sure that in every single meal, for women, about 35 grams of protein per meal. And then we have for men, it's probably going to be closer to 40 or 45 grams of protein. That way, of course, generally speaking, men are larger than women, so they require more protein than women do. And then the last one is movement. Try to get more steps. Be more conscious of it. If you can get up during, I don't know, every couple hours, if you have a job where you're sitting down all day, get up, go for a walk for 10 minutes. Or maybe you don't have that much time, stand up, do 10 or 20 squats. Do something that's going to allow you to move your body, get more blood flow. And I promise you, this is going to change how you feel. It's going to change how energized you are. Simple changes that work as prevention. And I want to go into a little bit more detail about specifically how lifestyle changes, such as I just listed, literally can help you prevent certain diseases. It is insane, it's staggering, the numbers of people nowadays that are dealing with chronic diseases. In fact, let me pull up. I think the last time I checked, it was in the 80s. It was like 70 or 80% of people have one chronic condition. That is mind-blowing. I mean, we're talking about the majority of the population being sick. Like, I find this quite frightening. And I think that the number one thing is that we are not understanding the body and the mechanics of the body and how simple changes can make such a huge difference. What percentage of the population has a chronic illness? It says, yeah, that's crazy. In 2023, approximately 76.4% of the US adults reported having one or more chronic conditions, with over 51% managing multiple chronic conditions. And that is insane, right? And I know that there's a lot of reasons for this, right? Not only are people dealing with a lot of mental illnesses and things like that, which just make all these other problems worse, but it's because of the changes in our lifestyle as well, the way that we're eating and we're not moving and we're not maybe getting outside enough, we're not getting enough sun, we're not sleeping properly. All of the changes that are happening are impacting our health and how we are obviously either getting sicker or doing our best to prevent sickness. Am I going to guarantee that these things are going to make it so you never get sick? There is no guarantee per se, but there is definitely proof now scientifically that when you do these things, for example, simply walking more will help you reduce your fasting insulin. It will help you reduce your cortisol levels. It's going to help in so many aspects that they seem minor. But a lot of chronic diseases start from basically your nutrition being not in the right place, causing blood sugar control issues and all this stuff that seems minor because you don't even notice it that much. You can't feel when you have high blood sugar. But high blood sugar leads to prediabetes, and then you get diabetes. And then you get a lot of other chronic conditions that are stemming from that one problem. So if we were to get to the root of the issue and fix the foundational problems, then we can fix not all, but most of the downstream issues. And at least we can see a reduction in the amount of people struggling with chronic disease. And at least we can have a better quality of life as we are going through the aging process, because that is the point, right? We want to feel our best. We want to have energy. We want to be able to move. We want to be able to enjoy our life. You want to be able to play with your kids. You want to be able to have, you want to be able to enjoy and how you look and feel in your clothes, have the confidence, the mental clarity to be able to show up and be your best in your work, right? All of the things. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat here. I do want to open a little bit of time for questions. Let's see here. This one is asking, are you a trainer? Yes. So I've been a trainer and a coach now for 8 years. So yes, that is my background. My background was as a personal trainer. I also studied nutrition and a lot in the supplement space as well. I've dealt with a lot of my own health problems, especially in my youth. So I'm talking about starting at 5 years old is when I started having a lot of symptoms that were not normal. I was dealing with chronic constipation, severe dry skin to the point of bleeding. And that, of course, is not normal. And even if it was considered normal, I refuse to think of these things as normal, because I know that nowadays they probably would label some of those symptoms as normal, and it's not. I don't think that we should ever take anything less than healthy as normal. So yes, there's many things. And later in my life, when I became a teenager, I was struggled a lot with mental health, anxiety, depression, weight gain. And it wasn't until later in my early 20s, I think I was 22 at the time, I was diagnosed with hypothyroid. And this was extremely shocking to me, especially because I started as a trainer at the age of 19. And I would say for the majority of my life, I've had a fairly healthy lifestyle. Growing up, even as a child, I was very active. I didn't eat the best. I think that's one of the things that maybe I struggled with more, that I didn't have a very clean diet. I definitely didn't focus on protein. But there's a lot of other factors that go into play when it comes to developing chronic conditions. And I've already mentioned some of them to you guys already, which is making sure we're sleeping good, prioritizing those things, but also stress. Stress being a huge culprit of these things, because stress impacts blood sugar. It does impact also your nervous system. It impacts how your body responds to the food that you're eating. It also impacts how well you sleep at night. And stress comes in many forms. And I'm going to just list off these ones really quick for those of you who maybe you think stress is just something that you get only from your job. There are many forms of stress. You have emotional stress, you have chemical stresses, and then of course you have physical stresses. A physical stress is, let's say that you go run a Spartan race or a Tough Mudder or some sort of crazy race. That is an immense stress on your body, even a hard workout. It's a physical stress, and it requires the body to then, it basically increases your cortisol levels, and your body's going to have to repair and recover from that stress. Doesn't always mean it's bad, and I'm not saying stress is the worst thing ever, but it is when you are chronically stressed over periods of time. So, right, we have our physical stress. Number 2 is our chemical stresses. This comes in the form of additives in foods. This is perfumes, lotions, cosmetics, all the things that we are putting on our skin and we're inhaling every single day that we don't even know. Pollution, chemical stresses. We are being bombarded by these things, and this one is a little bit more challenging, I would say, to avoid because it is constantly there in our environment. But of course, we can take some precautionary measures to reduce these things in our life, yes. And then the last one is emotional. And a lot of people don't even know how much their past experiences are currently affecting their health in the present moment. Because, yes, we all have trauma to some degree. It just is a matter of how much. And those experiences that we had in the past, they affect how we respond in the moment, right? So let's say something even minor. Let's say you got bullied in school as a young child, right? And now in your later life, you constantly live with a sense of people pleasing because you're afraid of being mistreated again or bullied. That is stress on your body. It affects your nervous system. It affects how you view the world and how you respond to things. So we are being stressed in many different aspects of our life, and we must become aware of them so we can reduce our stress, because the body does not thrive when we are chronically stressed. We have to let ourselves come back to a rest and digest state so that we can recover from these things. Because if we're not recovering, then we're in chronic stress. And guess what happens in chronic stress? Dis-ease. The word itself gives it away. When you are chronically stressed, you're not at ease ever. How is the body supposed to heal? How does it recover if it's chronically stressed? It doesn't. And that's when we get symptoms. That's when we start developing the early onset of disease, right? And I know most of us, we like to cover those things up because we get symptoms and then we're just like, oh, this is so annoying. I can't believe that I have a freaking headache. Oh my gosh, this is so annoying. Let me pop a pill for it. Oh, I'm so low energy. I'm just going to drink some caffeine, some energy drinks. Or, oh, my back is hurting, or, oh, my stomach's hurting here. Or, oh, I'm having stomach pain when I eat these foods, but oh, well, I'm just going to keep eating it. We are avoiding the signs, the symptoms that our body is giving us that something's not right, but we ignore them. And then we act surprised when 10 years down the road, we get a diagnosis. It's not a surprise. Let's just be honest with ourselves. It is not a surprise when we get a diagnosis when we've been ignoring the symptoms for 10 years, maybe 20 years. I know that we've all been there because like I told you guys, I started noticing symptoms at 5 years old. And it's not to blame my parents or myself or have shame or anything like that, but it's awareness that the body's always going to be giving us signs and symptoms. And if we don't address them and figure out what is the root cause of this, then it's only going to get worse. It doesn't just disappear. We can't sweep it under the rug, and those type of things do not fix themselves. And that's probably honestly the biggest reason why I have such a passion for health and wellness, because I've dealt with these things my whole life and I know what it feels like. I know what the symptoms look like, and I know what it feels like to get a diagnosis and feel like, oh, wow, where did this come from? But if I look back, I had symptoms for a while and I wasn't paying attention to them. So let me go ahead and check over here on Instagram. Make sure we don't have any questions. Just see a couple people joining in. Okay, I don't see any questions over there, so we should be good. So those are the main things that I wanted to discuss today. I know that sometimes I go off on little tangents, but the gist of what I'm discussing today is that health and wellness it's a daily thing. It's the little habits that we add to our life and making sure we're choosing the right ones that actually move the needle, right? Am I going to pretend and tell you guys right now that I'm perfectly healed and I'm perfectly healthy? No, but I will tell you that I am in a good place. I'm in a good place with my health. I feel good. I feel strong and I feel fit and I feel all these things that 10 years ago, I wasn't in as good of a place and I had to learn along the way. I didn't know what to do. I felt very, very confused and bombarded with so much information. And I'm sure it's even worse now because we have everybody online wanting to be a coach. We have all the influencers pushing all this information in your face, telling you this is the answer to your problems and all these things. And it's hard to figure out who to trust. But I think that, of course, we have to use our own discernment, number one. And number two, listening to people not only who are credible sources, people who've studied these things like myself. I've been doing this and I've been in this industry for 8 years now. I've seen it. I've worked with real people. I've dealt with these things myself. So I've experienced this. And I've also helped a lot of people overcome these problems, right? Those are important because if you're listening to the wrong people, they might lead you in the wrong direction. But also, it's not about complexities because I've also learned through my experiences that if you add so many things to your life that are not practical when it comes to sustaining those things in the long term, it's not going to help you. Sure, if you could work out every single day, you could sleep 10 hours a day, you're going to drink your water every day perfectly, you're going to eat every day perfectly. No one's going to stick to that. That is not practical. If you have a family, if you're traveling, if you have a business, if you work, if you're human, you're not going to be able to stick with this every single day perfectly. But there are things that we can do that are realistic, sustainable habits that we can add to our lifestyle that make a huge difference overall in the prevention of many, many diseases. And honestly, even more than just preventing disease, making you feel good so that you can have a quality of life that feels good to you, where you have the energy, the strength, the focus, the motivation, the desire to do the things that you want to do in your life, right? So I've already mentioned them. I don't want to go into too much detail. For those of you who want maybe more guidance with this, we are doing a challenge starting on the 23rd. Literally, we have 3 days, guys. It's on Thursday. And it's going to be going into detail on all of these things. So if you want more structure, you want more guidance, and not in a way that is going to confuse you, because like I said, I think that the simplicity of things and having the guidance and accountability is such a huge step for most people. So if you want to see a transformation in 30 days and you want something that not only you're going to see an incredible transformation in 30 days, but these things that you're going to learn within this space are things that you can take with you and implement for the rest of your life. That is another thing about myself as a coach that I really love and I wanted to do for people was I'm not just going to teach you these things and, expect you to just figure it out. I want to teach you so that you could teach someone else. You need to know these things so that you can be independent and actually go out in the world and live real life and make the right decisions because you feel confident in your ability to make the right healthy choices in a way that feels simple, sustainable, and actually gives you the results. So those are the most important things, right? So like I said, If you have more questions about this, you can send me a message or leave me a comment and I will send you guys the details, but make sure you're quick because we only have 3 days, okay? Because we are starting on the 23rd and it's going to be a lot of fun, guys. We already have a lot of people that have signed up for this. It is something that is amazing to have a space where you can have the accountability, especially if you're just getting started in this. I know that it can feel overwhelming, right? Because you're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm just getting started. Maybe I don't know where to start. Maybe it feels like I've done this before and I didn't stick with it, or maybe you need the extra hand holding. This is the space for you." Because we're going to have options as well. So if you're feeling like, "Oh gosh, well what if I'm not trying to lose fat?" Well, we have an option for you. There's going to be 3 options for those of you who have different goals. So we have fat loss, we have those who want to build muscle, and we also have those who just want to improve their overall fitness, their general, health and well-being. So we have all the options for you no matter where you're at. We will make it work for you. So I'm excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me check one more time for questions. Like I said, for those who want more information, leave me a comment here or send me a private message and I will send you the information. Okie dokie. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. Remember, prevention is the best. Don't wait like I have or many other people have. When you have symptoms, it's time to take action. The body is giving you the sign and the signal by showing you and giving you symptoms. Instead of trying to push them away or hide them with pills, creams, whatever it is, actually listen and make the changes. Because then you don't have to deal with the diagnosis, because guess what? It's inevitable. The body is telling you something's wrong, and the longer that we ignore it, the more likely that it's going to happen sooner than later, okay? So I'm not trying to scare people. I understand that it can be a little scary, but sometimes we need the real talk. Sometimes we need someone to tell us the truth, because I wish that I had this person telling me this 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Hey, you should probably sleep more. Hey, you should probably focus on this more. Hey, you should probably do this, because that would have saved me a lot of stress and a lot of time. And in today's world, we do need a little bit more clarity and simplicity and sustainability. It's not about something we can do for a week or a month. It's about something that we can do for the rest of our life. So I hope this helps. Like I said, I'm excited. Thursday is going to be a really exciting day, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. So have a great rest of your Monday. See you guys soon.